Hello my friends, I hope you're doing great, and this is the latest update on the situation in the Middle East, and also we're gonna speak about Ukraine. So the American involvement has not yet been initiated in the war between Israel and Iran. However, there are many more signs which show the preparation of the United States for the possible attack on Iran, or nuclear facilities of Iran, it's better to say. For the second day consecutive, there is the important situational room meeting between Donald Trump and his colleagues, security apparatus of the United States, of how to deal with Iran, or whether should they use military force against Iranian facilities. Strangely, but from yesterday's meeting we have no information, no comments from officials at all. It's like it never happened. We'll see what it could be after the second one. Also, media outlets like, for example, the Wall Street Journal, they refer to unknown officials of the United States telling that Donald Trump privately has already approved the attack plans for Iran, but has withheld final orders. So he's still like given the final chance for Iran to close its nuclear program, I guess. However, Donald Trump demands not the ceasefire, he wants the capitulation of Iran. He would want to keep Ayatollah regime, I guess, in power, but he wants the complete surrender. That's what he tweeted yesterday, and we have the recent video showing him saying almost the same stuff. Let's watch it.
He said I was going back home to make a ceasefire. Not a ceasefire. We're long beyond ceasefire. And I said, why do you say that? Why would you say ceasefire? It's a bad term to use, because a ceasefire means like everything's going swimmingly, we'll take a little time off. It's not. We're not looking for a ceasefire. We're looking for a total, complete victory. Again, you know what the victory is. No nuclear weapon. So I thought it was a very badly worded statement by him, and obviously I let him know that.
Yeah, here I expedited the video a little. So Donald Trump is looking for the final solution for Ayatollah not to possess the threat for the region. And here Trump actually goes in confrontation between him and his nuclear electorate, MAGA fanatics. There is now the huge Twitter battle ongoing, or internet battle, between more or less classical Republicans like Ted Cruz and the part which supports crazy ideas, conspiracy theories of Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, Tulsi Gabbard, and the shit like that. There was the part of the podcast, or you may call it interview, of the Ted Cruz, which he gave to Tucker Carlson, where Tucker Carlson in the way defended regime of Iran, and he said that those Republicans, like classical Republicans, as Ted Cruz, they're incompetent, they don't know the topic. Well, it doesn't mean that Tucker won after all, because he got the personal hate now from Donald Trump and the part of the Republican Party. I will tell you more, in 2012, Tucker Carlson said that Iran deserves to be annihilated. Also, yesterday I showed you this iconic tweet from Donald Trump, which shows really that there is civil war inside even MAGA community, not even speaking about Republican Party itself, but the wing of MAGA. There is no consolidation at all. They're biting each other all day long. It was Elon Musk, now Tucker Carlson, also Tulsi Gabbard. Donald Trump said that he doesn't care what she says, really. So Donnie has his own individual policy, and yeah, some of the MAGA electorate, they're crazy about it, because they don't want really to be involved in a new war. I would say, like many Americans, they don't want the next Iraq, and me also. I don't want the United States ground troops to be deployed out there in Iran as well. I did a poll today on my Telegram. The channel is kind of big, more than 200,000 followers I have there, and please check out my Telegram because we have interesting stuff happening there. I post some of the unique information. I asked followers, should the United States be involved in war against Iran, and we have 15,551 votes. That's kind of the big number, so 44% stated yes, 40% stated no. 16, I don't care. But still, this poll is not coming from the United States only. All of the people from all around the world voted. I followed this guy on YouTube, Callsign Copy. Before he was in Task and Purpose, I was really surprised that it wasn't really his channel. So he started his own recently. He's doing a fantastic job speaking about the military conflicts, about Ukrainian war. He went to the Kursk Oblast of the Russian Federation by the time it was taken by Ukraine. But before, he served as an infantry infantryman in the United States Army, and he was deployed in war zone of Iraq, and he shared his own experience of the war, and it's not the pleasant one. So he says that this conflict could be avoided, like it wasn't the proper action from the United States to deploy the forces in Iraq after. Yeah, they collapsed the Saddam Hussein regime, who is kind of similar to Iranian one, and maybe Hussein would like to get nuclear weaponry as well. But after Hussein regime collapsed, there was really a chaos there in the Middle East, in Iraq. You know, the case with Islamic State, and yeah, Kapi says that it was an unnecessary war, judging on what he films. Like, I watch some of his videos, sometimes, not often, but I watch him. So I don't think that he would personally support deployment of the United States forces towards Iran. Maybe I'm wrong, but I guess, yeah, it is not a proper action from the United States. And what I think should be done, and it's my personal opinion, guys, you may have your own. I'm not even the United States citizen, and we are speaking about the United States stuff here, but yeah, it's my channel. I can share my personal opinion because I review the situation worldwide. So we all understand, I guess, that definitely there is the threat from Iran to obtain nuclear weaponry. Ayatollah decided not to give up its nuclear program, and the only tool you can use to eliminate it are those bombers, or to send a special operation with the special forces of maybe Israel. I guess I already told it in my last video, so because the facilities are deep underground, you have to have a very big bomb which may dive into the ground and kaboom those facilities, bunkers, and so on. Or you should physically go there and mine everything. I guess B2 Spirit or maybe B-52, B-1 could be used in this scenario. Just maybe single attack on those facilities, nothing more than that. And again, I do not support deploying the ground forces. Well, Israel continued strikes on many of the military facilities, command headquarters of Iran, but they have just limited success. Even though, yeah, it's the huge success, but they don't have enough tools to go deep into the ground. Those tools are only available for United States Army. That's why Israel, from the very start of their operation, is calling United States to join their side in this war, and maybe it will be like that. And yeah, we're gonna review more of those pictures. The kaboom, as you may see, is very huge out there. Those strikes were conducted by the Israeli Air Force, and they operate in the airspace of Iran freely with a very old jets. Around 50 F-15s were sent yesterday for this mission, and no airplane was shot down by the absent air defense of Iran. Yeah, also F-16s were on the mission. What the hell was that? Batman. The only air vehicle that was lost by Israel is this Hermes drone. It is similar to Bayraktar TB2, and however, it is yet unknown whether the drone was really shut down. We have the image of it flying down uncontrollably in spin, so it could be like some malfunction of the drone itself. The possible missile which was coming to the drone wasn't really spotted. It was flying down as a leaf without the evidence of it being hit by something. Some of the channel news, guys, we have the new updates, so here you can select French, Italian, Spanish languages for my videos. It takes time for YouTube to come out with translation. Sometimes it might take several of the days, but nevertheless it is now available on some of my videos. The German is absent somehow. I cannot control it actually. I can enable and disable the stuff, but just an example for you. In French, for example.
J'ai perdu personnellement mes amis qui étaient les pilotes de ce vol.
Yeah, it's not my voice at all, and I'm not sure if the translation is correct, so... But the tool is out there for you to choose. For the new videos, it is absent. You have to wait for translation. And guys, by the way, if you want to support the job that I do here almost daily, you're very welcome to do it on Patreon page. I'll put the link for it in the video description just below. Many thanks for my Patreon supporters and also members of the channel. Guys, you keep me running, uploading videos, filming everything for you. And if you can support me, guys, just press your huge like to this video and subscribe for the channel. That is how you also boost this video in YouTube algorithms. Thank you so much for it. Let's continue with the rest of the news. But now, guys, let's return to the topic of the involvement of the United States in this war, and why do I think that it is almost imminent? Well, first of all, because the preparations are ongoing. For example, this is the United States Air Base in Qatar. Qatar is not that far away from Iran. It is just across the Persian Gulf, and here you can see I want to put your attention here on the northern side of the apron, parking stands of the airplanes, military airplanes out there in Qatar base. So it was on June 9th and it is yesterday. As you can see, the parking spots are freaking empty. And you may say, oh Dennis, United States is taking its forces out from Middle East because they're leaving those bases, but no. They just want to exclude the possible response from Iran because Iran still has some of their ballistic missiles. They also may launch Shahid drones. They still have limited but military capability. For now, Iran is not targeting the United States military bases. They say, Iranian Ayatollah said that they will only do it in case of the involvement of the United States in the war. That's why basically the United States Army minimizes the threat for itself in the region. Why? Well, because they plan to join this war. I don't see the other explanation. I think the decision to start it has already been taken, and today it is the night from Wednesday to Thursday. I guess tomorrow night or the day after tomorrow night it will happen. And I still don't think that America should go or will go with a landing operation. I think it will be kind of harmful even for the rating of Donald Trump personally. But as for the bombers, I think that decision has already been made. Well, at the same time, I cannot state it by 100%, well, by 95%, I guess that America will join it. Yesterday I gave 90, but here we have more evidence coming. Also other allies of United States, like for example the closest one, I guess, United Kingdom, braces for the possible United States strike on Iran as Starmer holds emergency talks with the United States and also with Israel. And we have the information coming that probably UK would support United States at least with logistics during the possible operation. Again, this information is mostly coming from media, but they refer to some of the British officials. At the same time, New York Post says that MAGA voters overwhelmingly support United States strikes on Iranian military. Poll. Well, Donald Trump reads that magazine almost every day, and he could be inspired. I'm not sure if it is correct because the nuclear electorate of MAGA, they are pro-Iranian, pro-Russian actually, and anti-Ukrainian, anti-Israelian. And here they're very similar to far left. We also have more confirmation that American ships left, for example, the Navy port in United Arab Emirates. Arab Emirates are also damn close to Iran. And also those freaks like Steve Bannon, they disagree with Trump on Iran. The Israelis have to finish what they started. They started this, they should finish it. He's against the involvement of the United States. And guys, actually this is the normal position. Like, you could be against the involvement. It is totally fine. It's your country, your military. But in a way, you know, Israel is after all a partner and also the ally of the United States in Middle East, the most important one. And there is the security treaty that was signed between Israel and United States of America. Also, as we mentioned before, there are lots of the military bases in Middle East of United States, and United States should secure them. Securing them also means defending the interests of its allies in Middle East, and not to let Iran to finally obtain nukes, because American bases in that case could be wiped out. That's why I think Donald Trump is concerned about it. And yeah, for me, Donald Trump is still an idiot because his actions and his exit from the treaty with Iran, which was signed by Barack Obama before, those actions led to everything of that. Donald Trump is incompetent, but in this case, he's not listening to Tucker Carlson ideas at least. Alright, we have the new information from the Austin Technical, kind of the good channel out there on Twitter. I follow it. So President Trump is reportedly getting comfortable with strikes on Iran's Fordo nuclear enrichment facility. ABC News, I guess, report about it. The United States plan to destroy the facility would most likely involve multiple strikes, and the United States forces are preparing to enact, I guess. So yesterday I already told you about this Fordo nuclear facility. It is the most important nuclear enrichment facility out there in Iran. Well, also they have one in Qom and Natanz, as far as I remember that city. Well, Natanz facility was highly likely destroyed by Israeli Air Force, but this Fordo is unreachable. He cannot reach underground with the tools Israeli army or Air Force has. And here is one more reason why do I think that involvement of the United States in the war with Air Force only is a good thing. Because all of the day the Russian media together with Putin, they were speaking about a very bad possible scenario coming from the United States. They don't want United States to destroy those nuclear facilities of Iran, which partially were built by Russian scientists and Russian engineers. Putin says that it may escalate. Those actions from Israel and the United States are totally wrong. So Russia is scared about its own ally, but at the same time they do not help Iran. And moreover, Putin today blamed Iran personally Ayatollah regime. What he says that Iran doesn't ask Russia for the military intervention into this war. Plus he said, Moscow, Russia proposed Iran to purchase the Russian air defense systems. Actually, Iran had some of the Russian air defense systems, S-300s, but they were already kaputted, so Russia wanted before to sell more. However, Putin said that unfortunately there was no interest about it from Tehran, and everything zagloklo. Zagloklo, it means like the deal was cancelled. It has been started, but it led to nowhere. Iran developed its own air defense systems, which were kaputted later on by IDF. So very, very bad Tehran. They didn't purchase the Russian air defense, and that is what happened to them. That's why, guys, I don't see that Russia somehow might help Iran. No, they blame them. They get beaten by Israel and Russia blames them. I guess even Donald Trump understands that, and there is no risk of the third world war, as some people say, like Tucker Carlson and maybe Joe Rogan. Oh, if we attack, there will be the third world war. No, Russia is not defending its allies. It happened in Syria before, it is happening in Iran. Putin, by the way, rose the topic of the Taurus missiles, which Germany still can potentially send to Ukraine. Taurus missiles will not stop the Russian army advance in the special military operation zone, but they will destroy Germany's relations with Russia. Okay, show this to Merz, it's not like the big risk relations destroyed with aggressor country. So come on, Germany, send your Taurus to Ukraine, because Putin is okay with Taurus even. All of the threats from the Russian propaganda and from Putin personally previously are gone. It happened the same with HIMARS, it happened the same with ATACMS, tanks, airplanes. I guess all of the red lines which could be crossed are already crossed, and it's up to our weak, I would say politically weak allies to support Ukraine. Politicians out there, Europeans, Americans, come on, release everything. Now it's the time, because Russian army, they struggle on the front lines, really, despite what Putin is saying, that they advance. Yeah, they take some of the ground, but how they take it, guys? Yeah, sadly, most of the politicians, they live in this wonderland that Russia is the strong country. Ukraine already shows for the 4th year already of the war, yeah, 3.5 years that Russia cannot defeat Ukraine. Ukraine is the small country compared to Russia with way less population and resources. Still, Russia is not winning it. According to the recent info from the Clash report, they refer to actions citing the United States officials. Trump wants to ensure that a potential attack truly achieves the goal of destroying Iran's nuclear program. So they are going now through the technical stuff of whether American bombs really may penetrate to reach the enrichment facility. Rich enrichment, okay. Well, as the other variant, I think it's also on the table is to deploy the special military forces. I guess here United States also may play its role in logistics, delivery of special forces of Israel to the same nuclear facility. But compared to just bombing the hell out of the facility, the operation with deployment of the forces is way more risky. It is more hard to organize, and the outcome is under the big question. Guys, exactly as I've told you, Israel informed the United States already that if they are not able to take out Iran's Fordo nuclear facility with bunker-busting bombs, they may do it with humans. Who they? I guess Israel. That's the facility underground, under this mountain. For sure, Iran protects it the most. So the special operation involving humans is risky. It will lead to losses, for sure. So I guess it's better to do it, after all, with bunker-busting bombs. I hope it helps. So theoretically, Israel has the assets to carry on long-range large air assault using HC-53 helicopter. They have those in their army, and also KC-130 refueling air tanker. So yeah, potentially they may reach for the facility, but it's kind of the long flight, guys. And one helicopter with infantry will not be enough to conquer all of the possible resistance on this very important facility. Well, Iran also continued their strikes on Israel. We have the information just published a minute ago. Attack sirens are sounding in Israel. I don't know if I can hear something in Tel Aviv. Everything is calm. And yeah, unfortunately, there are some of the Iranian strikes on Israel. So one of the medical facilities, Soroka Medical Center in the city of Beersheba, was hit by Iranian ballistic missile. It is the morning time. By the time I was editing this video, the information came, so Iran has capabilities to strike Israel. Civilian hospitals, civilian facilities. Also, 2 days ago, a Ukrainian family was unfortunately killed by Iran. They went to Israel for cancer treatment of 7-year-old daughter Anastasia. They stayed in an apartment and missile just hit it, so it's terrible. Family died. The family was from Odessa, Ukraine. I guess that father stays alive. He is a soldier of Ukrainian army, but he lost everything. That's why I hate Ayatollah regime of Iran. Should I tell more about bullshit which Putin spread today in his interview? Well, the main idea is like we're attacking just military infrastructure, despite the fact that Russia targets most of the civilians. We have videos, we have evidence, we have everything showing it up in media sources, online, everyone sees it, but this continue to tell that they target just military. Also, he mentioned that they will not allow Ukraine to have that army that is capable to attack Moscow. Freaking Prigozhin with his 4,500 people marched towards Moscow, and Putin just shit his pants. There was no resistance, and it was just Prigozhin's mistake to turn back. So he has 4,500 soldiers. So what army should Ukraine has in this case if Moscow nearly was taken by that small amount of the infantry? Yeah, guys, we tend to forget the crazy stuff actually which happened for the last 3.5 years. Lots of the stuff happened, and those people who say, oh, Ukraine will never reach its original borders, Russia will keep Crimea, blah blah blah, you never know, you never ever know. Maybe tomorrow there will be like new Prigozhin or some of the revolution among the Russian elite. It's Russia after all, it's unpredicted, and we see how reputation of Putin just plunges down, especially after Israel started its successful, really successful operation in Iran compared to what Russia is doing for 3.5 years in Ukraine with absolutely heavy losses, not just for military, but for the Russian economy. This guy, well, compared to Trump, he's not an idiot. He is like this villain, but at the same time, he lives in his own dictator world where he wants to restore the Soviet Empire. He will never achieve it. He doesn't understand that because still he's sure about his army which is unable to conquer freaking Ukraine, much smaller country compared to Russia if we speak about everything. But underestimating your enemy will really play the very bad game for Putin. Ukraine will be like Afghanistan for USSR, so because of Ukrainian war, which Putin started, Russia is way closer to its collapse. As you know, Israel also has its own spiderweb operation. Partially it was successful, the same as for Ukraine. Ukraine started before, like 2 weeks before, and Israel also introduced its agents out there in Iran. Well, I guess for Iran in this particular case, they intercepted this truck, the vehicle, with all of those remains of the drone components. You can see some of the boxes, covers for the drones. Yeah, just a standard truck out there. Yeah, we have some new evidence of Iranian missiles, ballistic missiles, which they sent to Israel, being absolutely annihilated by air defense of Israel. Plus, Iran lost its attack helicopters. Those are old AH-1. Not just a single video was published, but Iran lost many of those. Those were supplied to Iran in good old times. Then there was no Ayatollah regime in power. As for the military map, my friends, today I don't have anything to tell you because there was no movement of the Russian army for the last 24 hours. So we don't have any sort of the confirmation coming from the front lines according to the deep state military map source and other analytics. If something is happening, it is happening occasionally with a very, very slow advancement. Russia still has the advantage over Ukraine. That's why they take the ground. But again, there is no perspective for them to win in this war because Ukraine continues to defend itself. And thank you everyone who continue to support Ukraine. Guys, sorry I have to tell more about the situation in the Middle East because the information is coming from that region is in a way. Guys, sorry I have to tell more about the situation in the Middle East nowadays because we have lots of the information coming from that region. Mostly Ukrainian events were shadowed, but my opinion that it will not last for a very long time. I mean that military conflict out there in Iran. Plus, still, it's a big question if Ayatollah regime keeps its power or not. I don't see like huge opposition movements out there in Iran, so it's hard to tell. Because in Syria, for example, there was definitely a military force supported by Turkey, which gained the power. Here in Iran, everything is more or less volatile, like it is now in Russia, but everything might be changed. It depends. Ayatollah regime is now very weak. It has never been so weak, but we don't see like people protesting, marching on the streets because after all, they do afraid for their own lives. It is understandable because Ayatollah regime is a brutal regime. They punish their own citizens, I would say even harder than Russians do. So we'll see what happens after a few days. Thank you guys for watching my videos, for interacting with me in comments, in chat, everywhere. And please don't forget to press your huge like to this video. By doing so, you really help me a lot, and subscribe for the channel to boost it in algorithms. Thank you so much guys, and I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.